All units, 1199, expedite cover code 3, Deacon Mental Hospital.
184 copy, code 3, ETA 3 minutes.
Copy 184.
Sorry, detectives. I know you're just coming off a case, but I'm afraid we're gonna have to make a detour.
I'll admit, when I first began my 18-hour nightmare in The Evil Within, I wasn't impressed. The animations looked stiff, the character models were bland, and the protagonist's voice acting was dreadful at times. Fortunately, it doesn't take long for Shinji Mikami's roller coaster ride to turn around. After 30 minutes, Mikami will remind you why he is the master of survival horror. The Evil Within kicks off with our protagonist, Detective Sebastian Castellanos, headed to a crime scene.
What do you make of it?
Connolly, contact dispatch and let them know what's happening. Joseph, Kidman, you're with me. We're gonna have a look around.
When you reach the crime scene, Detective Castellanos is knocked unconscious and awakes in a distorted reality. Up until this point, the game does not look or feel all that impressive. Even on the PlayStation 4, the game could have easily been confused with its last-gen port at times. It's not until after Detective Castellanos' head injury where the pitch-perfect atmosphere and tone kick in. Though this does not solve or fix the subpar animations and voice acting, the meticulously crafted compositions and settings are more than enough to make up for this. If there is one thing that The Evil Within nails, it's the gloomy atmosphere and the perfect pacing. This should not come as a surprise to those familiar with Shinji Mikami's past works, such as Resident Evil. Mikami takes full advantage of the game's nebulous settings and its lack of rules in order to put together a spine-chilling collection of locales that include castles, asylums, mansions, and cityscapes, all of which reward and encourage player exploration. While locations like these have been home to plenty of horror games and films over the years, The Evil Within uses Detective Castellanos' questionable mental state in order to bend the setting in unique ways. 1 second you'll be running away from a grotesque monster through a hallway, and the next second gravity will shift and you will be falling through the hall, only to wake up back in a hospital. Even though the game does contain quite a few high-octane moments like these, The Evil Within is a survival horror game first and foremost. Throughout the game, you will be scrounging for ammo, matches, and spare parts. There wasn't a single confrontation where I felt safe, but at the same time, I never felt powerless either. Even when I was out of ammo, I always felt that there was some way I could get out of my predicament, whether that be an environmental trap or if it meant I had to run. The Evil Within finds the pristine balance between despair and hope that kept me retrying even when the going got tough. The balance is partly due to the gameplay. It almost feels as though Mikami took cues from The Last of Us in order to finely tune the gameplay. While the controls feel a bit awkward at times, fans of The Last of Us and Resident Evil 4 should have no problem getting the hang of it. The game features your standard survival horror arsenal consisting of handguns, sniper rifles, and shotguns, all of which are upgradable using green gel, the game's currency. Apart from your conventional firearms, there's also the Agony crossbow. Many players will most likely use this as their go-to weapon of choice because you can craft and collect various types of bolts that tailor to different strategies and playstyles. However, during my playthrough, I rarely used the Agony crossbow. Cycling through different bolts and crafting new ones felt a bit unwieldy. Plus, scoring headshots felt a lot more satisfying with the firearms. The game's most glaring problem lies within its lofty story and voice acting. The story starts off intriguing, but the intrigue is not strong enough in order to carry you through the whole story. Most of the time, you and Detective Castellanos are being pulled from one eerie set piece to another. This isn't a bad thing considering how well thought out the game's environments are, but after a while, plot holes, inconsistencies, and poor writing will catch up to the player. Most of the plot twists and reveals are painfully obvious as well, and not built up nearly as much as they should be. And it certainly does not help how bad Detective Castellanos' voice acting
Doc.
is.
Doc, what the hell is going on?
There's no time. I need to figure out how to reverse this if we're going to stop him.
Who? This Ruvik guy? Who the hell is he?
I'm sorry, I have to find this.
I can't help if you leave me in the dark, Doc. And you need me to help. Were you warning me about this? You are Leslie, right? I'm a police officer. Maybe I should help you.
Should help you.
Shit. How am I gonna get you to a hospital?
Hospital. 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 Hospital!
There were dozens of sequences where the dialogue broke the immersion and left me laughing. This style of voice acting is easily forgivable in action games, but not in a 2014 survival horror game. With talent like Jennifer Carpenter and Jackie Earle Haley, it's a shame that the protagonist is nowhere near on the same level.
Leslie! Leslie! Leslie!
The Evil Within is just short of a masterpiece. The tone, gameplay, settings, and pacing are all there, but Mikami missed the mark in a few areas that ultimately break the immersion at times. However, if you are itching for a true survival horror experience, then look no further. The Evil Within, for all intents and purposes, is Mikami's follow-up to Resident Evil 4. While it may not be as revolutionary or as memorable as Resident Evil 4, it is a game that deserves your attention.